Have you ever wondered how a person's birth could define their entire life? In ancient India, it wasn't your talent, your values, or your dreams that shaped your destiny. It was the family you were born into. A deeply rooted system divided people from the moment they entered the world. That system was called the caste system. This is the story of a society that was carved into classes, of people treated as untouchables, and of one man who rose from the bottom of that system, not just to break it, but to write the law of a new India with his own hands. This is the powerful journey of the caste system, and the revolutionary leader who dared to challenge it, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. To understand where it all began, we must go back, way back, over 3,000 years. The caste system, or Jati Pratha in India, began as a way to divide society based on work. In the early Vedic period, society was split into four varnas: Brahmins, the priests and scholars; Kshatriyas, the warriors and rulers; Vaishyas, the traders and farmers; Shudras, the laborers and service providers. Originally, this system wasn't meant to be about birth. It was about karma, your work, your contribution to society. But over time, that changed. By the time of ancient empires like the Mauryas and Guptas, birth became everything. If you were born a Brahmin, you stayed a Brahmin. If you were born a Shudra, no matter how smart, kind, or capable you were labeled for life. Worse, some people didn't even fit into these four categories. They were pushed outside the system entirely. These were the Dalits, called untouchables, people considered too impure to even be touched. They couldn't drink from the same wells, couldn't enter temples, couldn't eat with others. They were humiliated, rejected, and dehumanized by birth. Caste wasn't just a social issue. It became religious, cultural, and political. A deep-rooted disease that infected every part of life in India. And for centuries, this system remained unchallenged, until a man named Ambedkar was born into its lowest depths and refused to stay there. April 14, 1891, a boy was born in the town of Mo, in present-day Madhya Pradesh, India. His name was Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, and he was born into the Mahar caste, one of the lowest in the hierarchy. From the moment he opened his eyes, society told him he was less. At school, Ambedkar wasn't allowed to sit with other children. He had to bring his own mat, drink water from separate vessels, if he was allowed at all. Teachers avoided touching his books. His presence was seen as polluting. But Ambedkar had something that no one could crush, a burning hunger for education. Despite every barrier, he rose. He completed his schooling in India and, through scholarship, went to Columbia University in the United States. It was in New York City where he first experienced a society without caste. He earned a PhD in economics from Columbia, then went to London School of Economics and earned a law degree. He studied philosophy, politics, law, history, and society, not just to escape his reality, but to fight it. When he returned to India, he was no longer just a Dalit boy. He was a revolutionary, armed with knowledge and fire. He had one mission: destroy caste from its roots. Mahad Satyagraha, 1927. Ambedkar's first major protest happened in the town of Mahad in Maharashtra. There was a public water tank, the Chowdar tank, that Dalits were forbidden to drink from. Ambedkar said, "Water is life, and if a man is denied water, he is denied life itself." He led thousands of Dalits to that tank. They drank water from it, peacefully, with dignity, making a bold statement. We are not less than anyone. But the upper castes reacted with violence. Still, Ambedkar didn't stop. 2. Manusmriti Dahan. Later that year, Ambedkar publicly burned a copy of the Manusmriti, an ancient Hindu text that promoted caste discrimination. He wasn't attacking religion. He was attacking a system that used religion to justify inhuman treatment. 3. Temple entry movements. In 1930, Ambedkar led a protest at the Kalaram Temple in Nashik. Dalits weren't allowed to enter. Ambedkar led them to the gates and demanded entry. not with force, but with courage. He said, "God does not belong to one caste. No one should be barred from worship." These protests shocked the nation and made headlines. For the first time, India was forced to confront the brutality of caste. 4. Political voice. Round Table Conferences, 1930 to 1932. Ambedkar wasn't just protesting, he was changing politics. At the Round Table Conferences in London, he demanded separate electorates for Dalits, so they could choose their own leaders. But Gandhi opposed this, fearing it would divide Hindu society. It led to the Pune Pact, a compromise that gave reserved seats to Dalits, but within a common electoral system. Even though Ambedkar gave in, he knew the real battle was just beginning. When India gained independence in 1947, it needed a new constitution, one that would unite a broken nation. Who did they turn to? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the very man India once rejected, was made the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. He didn't write laws only for Dalits. He wrote a constitution for all of India. A constitution that declared, all are equal before the law. Untouchability is abolished. Discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, gender, or race is illegal. He ensured affirmative action, reservation, for scheduled castes and tribes, giving the oppressed a fair chance to rise. Through law, he broke the very system that had once crushed him. Dr. Ambedkar famously said, "We are Indians firstly and lastly." He didn't want revenge. He wanted justice, dignity, equality. On December 6, 1956, Ambedkar passed away. But he left behind a constitution that still guides 1.4 billion people. Ambedkar is gone, but the caste system, it's still around, in subtler forms. In villages, caste still decides who marries whom, who eats together, who sits where, even who can touch water. In cities, it hides behind names, job biases, and social norms. But change is happening. Dalits are becoming judges, scientists, engineers, CEOs. Ambedkar's dream is still alive. In every child who gets an education despite being told they're less. In every woman who walks into a temple for the first time. In every hand that votes freely. Today, social media is a new battlefield. Voices are louder, and the youth are rising. They're not begging for respect, they're claiming it. But the fight is far from over. As long as one child is denied education because of their caste, as long as one woman is turned away from a temple, Ambedkar's revolution must continue. When you see a Dalit student graduating with honors, when you see a child drinking water freely from any tap, when you see a woman praying in a temple once closed to her, remember, it wasn't always like this. One man, born at the bottom of the system, dared to dream beyond it. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar didn't just fight for Dalits. He fought for humanity. He taught the world that birth does not define destiny. He didn't ask for power. He demanded equality. He was not just a man. He was a movement.